Next, in our school days, we have more study hours and some practical hours. In Toastmasters, we have more practical hours and we have some study hours. Let's move to our study hour. That's our education session. So to deliver our education session, we have a wonderful speaker from Virudhunagar Toastmaster Club. So last time I went to Velu for a humorous speech contest. He was a runner-up for evaluation, district evaluation. So let's invite Toastmaster Shyamraj.
He reached many finals and district finals. Yeah, Shyam, lot of people, some of us know. I don't know the numbers, but I think he holds the record in District 82 for having reached the maximum number of district finals. And he was runner-up in ISC, winner in TT, winner in humorous. And this is only one time. There are other times he was first or second runner-up, and so it's an honor to have Shyam.
Very apologies for Shyamraj. So even Professor Thomas sir also is your fan. So yesterday he said in WhatsApp. So let's invite Toastmaster Shyamraj for
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you, friends?
Great.
Oh, good. Very happy to know that. In fact, when the TMOD was introducing me, I felt happy that I did not have the pressure this time. But then there was a person prompting him, and then there was this whole crowd talking about that, and now I again feel so frightened. And in fact, you said when Toastmaster Thomas was on the stage, you said best wishes Grenadier. You could have also said best wishes Shyam. You're going to speak after him. So this is definitely a challenge to talk about such a wonderful speech. Very happy to meet you all through this educational session, my dear friends. I've been to Medley Toastmasters before for conducting this education session on humorous speech, but then this time I feel it to be very applicable since we have the humorous speech contest coming very close by. So may I know how many of us are participating in this contest this time? Humorous speech contestants, very happy for all those hands that have raised. Thank you so much. So kudos, sincere appreciations. Now at this point, now maybe some of us would have already started scripting it in our mind. So let me share those little experiences that I've had with the humorous speech contest and maybe the education sessions that I've taken from people who are so good in humor. Recently I had Mr. Chenthil Kumar. Of course, so many of us know him as a wonderful educational speaker. He had visited our club and one of our young Toastmasters walked up to him and said, Sir, I've heard that you are in Toastmasters for a long time. Did you join Toastmasters in 2005, sir? He laughed and said, oh no, my dear, not then. It was in 1995, he said. And look at the reaction, how he projects it. Like such people have shared their experiences, and now I feel this as an opportunity to unwrap all those things to you. Now, point number one, whenever it comes to humorous speech, in my opinion, is, my dear friends, the unpredictability factor. Like some say it is the surprise factor that you unveil, or some say it is the unpredictability. So how can you open up that surprise and give the humor? Let me share these little jokes that were cracked by some of our friends in the ISC stages or in the humorous speech stages. During the last ISC, I heard one of these speakers quoting this. He said he had a problem with his studies. And the joke goes like this. He says, in my maths test, I scored only 35%. And my father immediately took my paper and said, what? Only 35%? Get out of my house. You are not my son anymore. That was just a class test. He is reacting as if it is a DNA test. Now this point was crafted using so many factors, and then finally when he says DNA test and class test, just imagine the way he has opened up the surprise. And then there was another place where he wanted to say he was not very happy about his job. And he said, friends, I wanted to excel in my job. I did not want to excel as my job. Now this is again a place where he plays with this word excel and excel. And I, in one of my speeches, wanted to use this apple as a concept. No, we know apple is used in so many places. Like the first apple which Adam bit, then apple that was by Steve Jobs, and the apple that fell on Newton's head. And then I just wanted to have it this way. I had a bite on this apple on one end and the other end. So when I show it, you would only see the first end. So I just started like this. Friends, do you know something? Adam took the first bite of this apple and we all landed on earth. But wait, Adam's bite was not the first bite. Madam's bite was the first bite. Now, Adams and Eve, stop looking at each other. It's too late to repent, it's too late to blame each other. Eve, it's okay, you had a good taste. Adams, it's okay, you still have a good taste. Now you understand that, like, when you stack these points one after the other, and when you see that they come in as a surprise, you don't reveal that, you don't explain that, you just give it that way, and that is how humor mostly opens up. And there was also another case wherein I had to talk about my handwriting, and just wanted to project it this way. Like, I did not want to confess that I was poor in handwriting. I wanted to still fight back and say, no, I'm okay with this handwriting. And then it goes like this, whenever people say, Shyamraj, your handwriting is obnoxious. I say, cool, that's my font style. No, Shyamraj, why are your notebooks and papers always torn? Sir, my pen is mightier than a sword, I say. Oh, glad at least some people have started laughing. I know you laugh better for this. There was this stand-up comedian whom I met in this Trichy conference. He said, see, you can easily crack jokes in a Toastmasters audience. They laugh for anything. Even if it is not a joke. See, it was not even a joke, he laughed. So you see, like, this is how, like, people use these situations. So second thing that comes after maybe unpredictability is using this situation. We know that Tamil Nadu is known for the two great music legends, like you call them Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman. It was this ceremony wherein all the music directors were paying their due honors to A.R. Rahman after he received the Oscar awards. And Ilayaraja goes onto the stage and says, okay, now we'll have Mr. Ilayaraja talking laurels about A.R. Rahman and how they both worked together, how they brought about this harmony. He goes to this dais, and this is a double mic podium, okay? There are two mics coming this way. Ilayaraja goes to the stage and says, he takes both the mics, puts them together and says, so you want me to join them together and speak? Yes? He asks this question. Do you understand the metaphor within that? He says, one is A.R. Rahman, one is Ilayaraja. Do you want me to talk about them, putting them together? So using the circumstances stand to be another important factor when it comes to humor, my dear friends. Maybe the TMOD said, best wishes Grammarian, and we were all laughing. So it's all about how you open up this surprise element, and it involves how you craft this joke. And possibly, this happens when you try to bring down or trim down all your long jokes. See, I always say that there are a few jokes which might sound very huge, wherein the surprise element gets died off before you crack the exact joke. Particularly, even in ISC contest, if you are going to work with humor in the first 90 seconds, you should have at least practiced 3 to 4 humor or maybe jokes in the first 90 seconds. Maybe I started one of my humorous speech sessions this way. It was about my difficulty with mathematics. I said, the great Indian mathematician Ramanujam and I had only one difference. Ramanujam was so good in mathematics and so poor in all the other subjects. I was so poor in all the other subjects, and I was like, I'm sorry, I actually mixed it up. It actually goes like this. Ramanujam was so good in mathematics and so poor in all the other subjects. I was so poor in mathematics, and remember, I said there is only one difference between Ramanujam and me. In the other subjects, we were both the same. Like, maybe for this humor, finally when it worked, I could receive a bit of response and applause, but then I felt that this was not a very much advisable joke because it ran for a long time. Have you heard this one incident? They talk about the guillotine. Like, there is, you know what a guillotine is? It's a head cutting machine. So there are 3 convicted prisoners taken to this guillotine, and they were to be executed. The first one was a priest, the second one was a lawyer, the third one was an engineer, they say. So the priest goes there and they say, do you have anything to say as your last wish? And this man says, all these years I have served God, so I don't want to have my head down when it cuts me. I want to look up. I want to look at God. They say, okay, as you please. So he lay as if his head was down. And now they said, cut. So the button was pressed. The blade was coming fast. It came close to his neck and it stopped. Execution cannot happen twice. They took the blade and said, you are so lucky. Please go. He goes. Now the lawyer comes. And they say, what is your last word? And this man says, I always work on experiences. I'll do what exactly the previous person did. I'll lie like this. He looks up. He says, press. The button was pressed. The blade comes fast forward, comes down, and it stops close to his neck. Execution cannot happen twice. They leave the lawyer as well. And finally the engineer comes. Now what is your last wish? Or what is the last statement that you would like to convey? Sir, actually the blue wire and red wire are not connected properly, that way it's not making sense. Now a successful humor which we would enjoy, but not a preferable one. You cannot have it in your humorous speech. Why? Why, friends? Why should we not have this humor in a humorous speech?
Too long.
It is very long. It has already taken up 1.5 minutes of my time. And within this 5 to 7 minutes of your speech, like you will have to try jokes every 3 to 4 minutes once. 3 to 4 lines once. So by the end of the third line, check if the audience are laughing. By the end of the fourth line, check if people are laughing. Only if the humor is going to work in that frequency, you sound to be very successful with a very good frequency. And I always know that we have this wonderful question popping up in our mind. We say, Shyam, I'm a very serious person. Will humor work with me? How many of you have this question? Okay, how many of you don't have this question? Okay, everybody has this question. Like every one of us is very serious, my dear friends. And how many of you have this question? Because the topic today was humor, voice and body language, right? How many of you feel, no, I cannot attempt body language and crack jokes? Do you feel that? Okay. How many of you here know C.K. Ramesh? We know him as the district director, and we also know him as the humorous speech contest winner of a particular year. And one sweet news is when Mr. C.K. Ramesh won the district contest, I was a contestant who failed very miserably in the same stage. It was at it was at Mumbai that the contest was conducted when India and Sri Lanka together was in District 82. I'll tell you, friends, when C.K. won that contest, he had no body language. Has anyone here witnessed his speech? He had no body language. You know, C.K. was rooted to his stage. His speech's title was Short and Sweet. You know how short C.K. is? He talks about his being so short. And he presented his speech this way. He said, when I was traveling in a bus, I hit a lady and the lady said, stand properly. After a point, I again hit her. She said, can't you hold the bar? And after some time, I again hit her. And she shouted, can't you hold the bar and stand straight? Ma'am, very sorry. I can do only one thing at a time. I can either hold the bar or stand straight. I cannot do both at the same time. And this invited no action from him. He was only standing here and he was very successful. Very successful. And maybe if you had been thinking, I'm a very serious person, how would humor work with me? I cannot go with a lot of expressions. How many of you have seen Tengachi Ko Swaminathan, a Tamil speaker? Have you seen his face? Have you ever felt like going and having a handshake with him? Very serious person with his drowsy face. You know what this guy once said? He just started the speech like this. I, along with my friends, were going to a conference to talk about anger management. When we were going, we had to stand in this queue to drop our luggages in the aisles at the airport. Suddenly the queue stopped. There was a quarrel between the first person standing in the queue and the serviceman. This fellow started yelling at the serviceman because he dropped the luggage. And he shouted, how could you drop my luggage? How dare you? Do you know who I am? Do you know what a kind of VIP I am? And this serviceman was only smiling. He did not react. And he continues yelling and the serviceman still keeps smiling. And now Tengachi Ko Swaminathan, who was standing there, feels we are going to conduct a session on anger management. We should learn a lot from this boy. So when the passenger went and he got his turn to go to the serviceman, he says, son, I really need to know something. That passenger, that traveler was yelling at you. How could you keep smiling? I'm going to conduct a session on anger management. Can you give some tips? And this man says, sir, different people have different ways to convey their anger, to express their anger. That gentleman used one way, I used another way. What did you do? Sir, that gentleman is going to Japan, his luggage is going to America. So the point is, again, not a preferable joke. Don't take it as a joke for its style or standard. Think of it as a joke from a very serious person like Swaminathan. Very easily cracked joke. Abraham Lincoln, have you seen his face? In all those photos, show me a photograph where Abraham smiles. He doesn't. He has this long face, seriously long face, always. And this man, they say, I mean, this is an anecdote that people usually quote about Abraham Lincoln. They say, Abraham Lincoln was dining with so many members. The fellow sitting close to him was not a good friend of his. He was always a bitter enemy. So once he wanted to fetch some water, so he took off from his seat, he moved away. But his hanky was there on the table. So this fellow who was standing there wanted to insult Abraham, and he takes out his pen, draws the face of a donkey on the kerchief and continues eating. Now Abraham comes back to his seat and sees that there is a face of a donkey on his kerchief. Now he knew very well that it was the work of this guy. So he asks him politely, my dear friend, when I was off from my seat, did you take my kerchief and wipe your face? This was like as if the impression had fallen on the kerchief. Like all serious people able to crack jokes very eminently. Now what is the factor there? CK did not move from his position. Tenkachi Swaminathan did not have a space to move because it was a video screening that happened when he was on the chair. And Abraham Lincoln, such a serious person, was able to crack humor. Now tell me, without voice modulation, without body language, what actually helped these people? Oh, yeah, the presence of mind which worked to what level, to what quotient. Say, if you feel that I'm a very serious speaker, my dear friends, you need to understand this fraction. We all enjoy jokes and we present the jokes. I always ask this question, who becomes a good writer? The answer to this question is a good reader becomes a good writer. Who becomes a good speaker? A good listener becomes a good speaker. A good listener becoming a good writer or a good reader becoming a good speaker is not a very successful combination. So similarly, people who enjoy humor can produce humor. If you have ever laughed for any joke in your life, you are a successful humorous speaker. Do you get my point? So the way you get it, you can definitely present it. When you present, if people don't smile, if people don't laugh, then that is not the way to present it. You will only have to alter it. See, certain jokes attain 100% completion the moment you script it. Now how do I identify that? Show your script to people. If people can laugh for the joke, then your script is 100% helping you with humor. If that is the case, don't go with voice modulation, don't go with body language. Do you understand my point? When a humor is already good in its content, don't attempt voice modulation or body language. Shall I tell you how you will sound when you do that? We know Mr. Bean. Yes, in one of his series, Mr. Bean spilled some water in his white pant. So it looks very awkward. So he's unable to face people in that hall. So quickly he moves close to the walls and he keeps standing close to the walls. And he waits for this pan to get dried. Nothing works, he keeps moving this way. And finally he finds a pedestal fan somewhere. So he keeps the pedestal fan in such a position that the pan gets dried very soon. Now after half an hour's tough attempts, the pan gets dried. Now what happens after that? Now all this time he has been trying to escape the eyes of people. So now he takes the pan and says, yeah, what do you want? Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, I am here. Like as if everything had happened, right? He goes to everyone and shows this pan. Nobody knew it was wet. But he has this intention to show people that everything is normal with him. Like you sound like that when you try to add flavor to a joke which is already successful. You try to understand? Like if you had felt like when people have more of body language, you feel that as a bit of overdose. That was not required for that joke. So that's the proportion. If this joke on the script is 20% okay, now go for 30% of voice modulation and go for 50% of body language, wherein it works. Now, I always quote this as a humor, like it has been quoted already in Medley Toastmasters. When I was talking about my first bad impression on the stage, I was so afraid of the stage. So I said, during my first stage, my teacher wanted me to act as Brutus, kill Caesar, and present a talk to the Romans. I took out my dagger, killed the minister instead of Caesar, and I was talking about Caesar to Caesar. The boy who was acting as Caesar did not know what to do. Not knowing what to do, he took out his dagger, killed himself and lay on the floor. Now here, this wouldn't have worked without this action. Like here, I need to place the minister here, the Caesar here, the Brutus here, Romans there. And that helps you in doing that. And another successful strategy when it comes to humor is stacked humor. What do you mean by the stacked humor? This is one example for that. Say for example, you laughed when I did this action. I killed the minister instead of Caesar. Here the joke is over for a few. Now don't stop there. Stack it again. And I was talking about Caesar to Caesar. Again you get some response. Don't stop here. The boy did not know what to do. Knowing that he should be dead for that scene, laughter. He took out his dagger, killed himself and lay on the floor. Now 4 lines of humor. Do you get that? Like when I was talking about my memory loss once, during the last ISC, I had to attempt this, like I just tried this one. I just go to the stage and say, You know, 4 out of 5 kids suffer from memory loss in Asia. And I was the topper of the 4 in my area. In that condition, my teacher always compared me with the topper of the class, Rahul. Rahul knows who lost to whom in World War II. Do you know where in this world you lost your history book? She asked me. Now I was so offended and it pulled my whiskers. I wanted to prove her wrong. So one day, I tried to focus all through my memory and studied for 2 days. And went to the teacher and said, Sir, Shah Jahan constructed Taj Mahal using 20,000 slaves beside the river Yamuna. Egypt is famous for pyramids in the river Nile. China is famous for the Great Wall of China. Hitler committed suicide in 1945. Kangaroo is the national animal of Australia. Now, sir, I have proved myself, I said. And the teacher politely said, my son, it is not I have proved myself. It is I have proven myself. And I am not your history teacher. I am your English teacher. Your history teacher is there. Now my memory system collapsed as usual. I walked to the history teacher and he said, yeah, tell me, sir, Hitler fell in divine love with his wife and constructed Taj Mahal beside the river Nile, sir. 20,000 kangaroos jumped over the Great Wall of China and committed suicide in 1945. And the Great Pyramids were, the Taj Mahal was constructed in Egypt, sir. Like when I was trying to frame this last few lines in the district stage, there was nobody listening to me. Like nobody listened to how I was stacking this. But then the humor started working the moment I said, Hitler fell in divine love with his wife, sir. And people did not listen to the last 3 lines. So it's very important that we understand people are okay with the knack that you are trying. They are not really waiting for the sentences that you speak. And now the joke actually worked the moment I said, I'm not your history teacher, I'm your English teacher, your history teacher is there. It's done. And now stacked with another end of humor, it creeps up more and you stay in the minds of people. You understand? Like when it comes to a normal speech, like it's okay if you present your speech and people laugh. But when it comes to this humorous speech contest, it's not about making people laugh, it's about making people remember your jokes amidst the various other jokes that they listen that day. Right? So maybe these few factors that I wanted to convey in terms of unpredictability. Number 2, no long jokes for sure. Like by the time you crack that joke, it is only one success for the last 1.5 minutes. Have the frequency more. And then the third thing, maybe unpredictability, stacking them up. And one final thing would be ready to change your script at any time. Change your concepts at any time. Like even at the last minute, if you feel this to be presented in another direction can invite humor, please be ready to do that. So these are the ideas and suggestions that I wanted to share out of my experiences in the humorous speech contest, or maybe from the educational speakers who have talked about humor. There is a clear difference between a joke and a humor. A joke does not need a message. A humor needs a message. Is that clear? So you have a point, crack a joke, have a point. That's humor. You crack a joke, that's a joke for always. Is that clear? So in our humorous speech contest, we are expected to have a point and a joke within that. So let's be very cautious, and particularly with humorous speech contest, be very clear with the points that you would like to say. Maybe when I was talking about this math joke, you saw me fumbling, right? No, I'm sorry, I said that wrongly. I'm poor in mathematics, and like this fumble can never be accepted. This fumble, when you try to correct it and present it, it never works. Now, happy that I also stood as a bad example here. Like I did not have that point in mind, but when I was giving you the instructions on that suggestion, I wanted to give that joke in between. So if you're not practiced, the joke doesn't work. So have 1,000 times of practice and see that you present it so well. Even though it is your script, you need that element of practice to push it straight. Now my red card is still not on. I'd be happy to answer questions if we have.
So I've seen in some contests, the contestants try to bring a message, serious message.
Yes, sir.
So what's your opinion?
I missed the question.
When the contestants try to bring a message, maybe the speech would have been humorous all through all.
Yeah.
But then suddenly they go for a
Message.
Maybe people think that it would be like should there be a message?
No, sir. No, sir. If we look into the ballot sheet of a humorous speech contest, they do not seriously look for a message. They only need a proper close to that speech, and they don't need a message. Maybe in the case of IAC, message stands on top, and humor can support you in building to that message.
Even division contest, I think people have passed in the different levels.
Yes, yes. I mean, in fact, if you remember what Karthik Mohandas did last time, like, I mean, let us use this as an attire is definitely not a message. And he was the winner of the district contest. And C.K. Ramesh talking about being short and sweet is not a message. And when I completed my speech on mathematics, I said, so mathematics teacher teaches well. That's a very bad message. That's not the way to close it. But then for that speech, it sounded to be an appropriate conclusion. And that's how it goes.
So what is slapstick comedy and stand-up comedy? We use both.
Yes, like experts say, it shouldn't be a stand-up comedy. Say stand-up comedy, you can jump between ideas. Like you give one end of humor, they test you. I mean, they test the audience with 3 or 4 models. And once they understand this audience reacts to the third kind of jokes, they stack all their third kind of jokes there. So this experimenting using different angles is a stand-up joke. Like, but then if I can have a message that can be stuffed within, and I don't worry about people laughing, I worry about people laughing sensibly. They accept the point and then they laugh. That's the difference. And in our fraternity, the second is sought. Yes, sir.
Usually, whenever we write a joke or any sort of humor script we write, we feel the joke is not good for ourselves.
And somebody else did not laugh. Yes.
Yeah. And also, during the first few seconds, if you are not making the audience to listen to it, they lost interest, and even though there is joke at the end, they won't listen.
Perfect. Maybe that's a question for which the previous answer gets shared. It's not about building the message very properly. It's about giving the best of your jokes at the top of the speech. Like stack it in such a way that the first 90 seconds you fill the audience with laughter. And that is more important. So don't think about this joke being appropriate here in this position. No, if it is the best joke in your whole lot, take it to the top. Number 1, maybe to have your audience engaged at the beginning itself. In fact, this is a very meaningful point, friends. When people laugh so well at the beginning, they will continue the laughter even for the average jokes that you have in your speech. But you start with the average jokes, even the good ones will not receive the response. So how you set them at the beginning is what you get till the end of the speech. And there was one more question, people don't find it good. Yes. I believe you showed it to one individual. Yes. You tested it on a friend.
So, group of people,
How many?
around 10.
Around 10. Okay. Then maybe sincere work on that, putting it in a different dimension should work. Usually, friends, never check your joke on one friend and expect him to laugh. No, that doesn't happen. Like if that friend says, it sounds good, you're going to get a roaring laughter at the district stage. Yes, the LOU of an individual and the LOU of a mob is entirely different. Like whatever I told you now or whatever you responded to in the last 20 minutes wouldn't have received that response if I had been talking to every one of you individually. So as an individual, your LOU is up, your level of understanding is up, and you cannot appreciate a joke. Or even if they are 10 friends who have been in a different mood, they wouldn't have appreciated that joke. Now, it's very important that you try it in a professional environment. Like in Toastmasters, when you present this humorous speech contest, everybody is in a professional attire, you have a wonderful stage, you have the lights, and everyone is liking to be serious, and that's when all your jokes work easily. But when your friends are already in a gala mood, you try this joke, to them this joke will stand as a competition to the gala that they are having at that moment. So find the right set of people, give it to them at the right time. Like experimenting is a very important factor. Certain jokes which have been rejected by the mentors at the preparation stage have won a roaring applause at the district stage. So we shall be cautious. I'll tell you something, things don't work the way we go. Like Toastmaster Shyamraj wanted to convey a very serious message on the title Rest in Peace. I believe some of you would have witnessed that speech. So he felt, Anna, I want to convey the seriousness of the message in the very first minute of my speech. So I'm going to lie down as a dead body on the stage, he said. He went there, lay down as a dead body and everybody started laughing. That was not what he expected. Even at the district stage, everybody was laughing. And he said another place where he said, if I say rest in peace to a newborn baby, people will understand the seriousness, he said. And he said, friends, rest in peace is not a statement of condolence. It's a wish to a newborn baby. The next time you see a newborn baby, kiss him and say rest in peace. The district audience was laughing. They thought it was a joke. Do you understand? Like when certain things go unconventional, not the way they predicted, it becomes a joke. And finally, Shyamraj was happy that they at least responded. I wanted them to shed tears, they were laughing. So somehow the response was felt. So you don't predict it, so stay ready for any sort of response from the audience. Yes.
How about using taboo topics to
You said it is a Glad. It goes like this, friends. Even when Mr. Chandal Kumar was presenting his session, he said, the district or maybe the Toastmasters fraternity has already heard a lot of jokes on opposite gender or maybe mocking at other people, and he finally said, always when you go with humor, there is no humor in you if there is no you in humor, there is no you in humor if there is no humor in you, he said. He said, put it all self-inflicting and do not involve another person in that joke is what he said. So when we say another person, taboo topics is always a risky area to touch. So maybe if you try to conceal the meaning of the joke and put it in a very subtle way, still people are mature enough to understand the differences. So risky areas, sir. Yeah? This is all done? Okay. Thank you so much, friends. So now, as always, I have enjoyed Medley Toastmasters as a very good audience. I believe this would help you with your preparation for the humorous speech contest. Kindly excuse me if I have bored you during your regular meeting session. Now, with the permission of the ExCom committee of the club, can I render an invitation to this lot, shall I? Yeah. Friends, we know Toastmasters have conferences biannually. We have conferences by the end of every 6 months. The Cavaliers actually are the junior Toastmasters. Students under 18 years of age practice the very same style that we follow, and even they have their CC manuals and ACB manuals. Now, for the first time in India, we thought we could arrange for an inter-Gavel conference for almost all the Gavel clubs in the country. So this initiative was taken by a Toastmaster in Virudhunagar Toastmasters Club, and her name is Rajuvalli. It is Toastmaster Rajuvalli who designed the whole lot, and we initially started about thinking it as a very small project, but then we understood that the clubs in Chennai were ready to participate. Then the clubs in India were ready to participate. So we thought this should go up in magnitude, and today it has got this design very similar to that of a district conference. So we thought it cannot happen without an educational speaker. So we approached one man whom all Indians would know. In fact, everybody in the world would know. We thought if this man comes, all these little children will get motivated, and we also thought that would become a reason for all the wonderful Toastmasters in Tamil Nadu to participate. My dear friends, Dhananjaya Idyarachi is the educational speaker for this event, and this event is to be happening at Hotel Heritage Madurai on September 23, which is a Saturday. So I'd be happy to slip in the invitation to the hands of the president of this club, and whoever wishes to attend this conference may kindly give me your name. I shall do the formalities for you. So it's on September 23, Hotel Heritage Madurai, and Dhananjaya plans to stay in Madurai for 2 days. So even offline discussions with him shall happen at that time. So my sincere invitation, I shall drop the invitation to the president later. Thank you so much for the permission, and thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Toastmasters Shyamraj, for the wonderful education session. And that of writing humorous speech. So to facilitate Toastmasters Shyamraj, I would like to call Toastmaster TTM Satish.